defeating the area boss usually just moves you into the next section. I'll sort of explain, once you get the ability to choose paths, the non-linear aspects of this game. Unlike Ghouls and Ghosts and Goblins, Demon's Crest is not meant to be a linear game. It's a bit more branching exploration. I wouldn't say Metroidvania because you don't have save points and central hubs. You do have a couple places you return to, and your ability to traverse different areas kind of depends on where you choose to go. That's one of the things I like about it. You can do a bunch of the areas in different orders depending on how challenging you want the game to be, and it doesn't lock you to a specific path. And these particular platforms will crumble if I stand on them. The game also has several endings. I think at least 3 different endings. A bad ending, a normal ending, and the good ending. What I'm going to be doing for this Let's Play, because I'm not intending to speedrun by any means, I'm going to be going for 100% completion. This will be a test to see if I still remember where everything is. That item is a potion vial. When we eventually get the ability to go to town, we can buy various potions that will do helpful things like refill life primarily. That's the main one that I tend to go for. Some of the other ones I think cause invulnerability and negate other hazards. The spell parchments, the vellums, you can also buy spell abilities when you go to town. I think they are consumable, so you buy them and then you can use them 1 or more times in battle. I haven't really done much with the spell system when I play this game, but for the sake of explaining mechanics, I'll explore it as we go. Yeah, I'll pick up a couple and just demonstrate what the spells do. The sort of moving plant mouth walls and floors are hazards. If I touch those, I'll take damage. At this point, the game is explaining to the player where they can and can't go, and the fact that they hit a potion vial in that lower area is also teaching the player to explore different routes. I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head if there are insta-kill pits in this game, but the game is basically telling you if you can go down somewhere, you should at least take a look and see if there's anything useful there. Sometimes there'll be a hidden item, sometimes a whole new path to a different area will open up if you just explore. If we drop down real quick to this section of the wall where the bricks look different, those are breakable, but I don't have the ability to break walls quite yet. So in true exploration, Metroidvania type fare, we'll have to backtrack when we have different abilities in order to check out paths that were blocked before and see what we get for opening them up. And right away we're dropped into another boss fight. I've watched your progress and I'm glad that I shall be the one to put an end to your petty crusade. I believe you have heard of me. I am Arma. I will be your executioner. So Arma's story is, he is kind of like the vile or rival type character throughout Demon's Crest. According to the lore, I believe he's one of Phalanx's generals. He's basically tasked with stopping all threats to Phalanx, who's assumed rule over the demon realm right now. And throughout your quest, you'll run into Arma and he'll test you. Being of a similar type as Firebrand, a winged demon, in this first fight, Arma will fly around and launch breath projectiles at you. He can do these fast dives to cover ground, and he'll change height freely in order to switch his attacks up. I think the only real dangerous thing he can do is that dash attack, which can come out relatively fast sometimes. And because I can't duck, if he buzzes too low to the ground, I'll have to try and jump over him. And just like the Hippogriff fight, you want to sort of bait Arma to get closer to the ground in order to be in range of your shot, since you can't fly upwards. If you stay too high up, he won't fly lower and you won't be able to hit him. And after you do enough damage, the fight ends. You do seem to possess the strength people have been talking about. I look forward to our next encounter. You have found the Crest of Earth. With it, you can morph into the G-Gargoyle and gain great speed and the strength to break stone statues. I think the way the lore works with Arma's involvement in the story is, I believe Phalanx gave him command of some of the crests and told him keep him safe or do what you will with them. As you run into Arma throughout the story, he'll give you different crests to add to your collection. And I think the reason why he's doing that is because there's some sort of fabled crest that they'll probably mention in the story later that only appears when all the crests have been fully unlocked and combined. And I would assume Phalanx's motivation for making sure the crests are obtained by Firebrand is so Firebrand can unlock them, then Phalanx can steal them all from him at the end, when the ultimate one is awakened. Or it could just be video game logic. But we will run into Arma again throughout the story. After completing the first level of the game, we're dropped into the overworld map proper. And it's this sort of Mode 7 top-down display. And by guiding Firebrand, we can fly around the map. He sort of banks side to side, and I could have sworn you had the ability to sort of glide and turn, but it's a little bit clunky. It works a little bit better if you sort of stop and then turn, almost tank control-like. By hitting Y, he'll fly low to the ground, and if there's an explorable area below him, then he'll actually enter the area. And for example, this particular house. Welcome to the Black Lotus. We carry only the finest potions. Which would you like? Let's see. Mercury, Sulfur, Herb, Elixir. I wonder if these will tell me what they do. This potion will restore some of your vitality. Will you buy this? No. We'll go down the list. Mercury. This potion will allow you to escape from an enemy. Sulfur. This potion enables you to flee from a battle. This one might be a exit the stage item. I've only ever bought health recovery potions from these merchants. Elixir. This grants you an extra life. That's interesting. We only have 35 gold right now, so we'll save our money. Basically, at this point, the game sort of opens up, and it lets you sort of choose your path. If we hit start, we see an overview of the entire map. If we fly off different ends, just like a globe, it'll loop us around, and you have the ability to just explore the entire terrain and look for hidden areas, some of which are on here. The numbering of the levels is sort of the game's recommended path, but as we proceed and new areas unlock, we'll be able to go to them in whatever order we want. I think, for the sake of keeping things organized, I'm going to go to Area 2 next. There's some stuff there that we can look at. And that should be this area right here. Yeah. Area 2 is technically the town. If we fly in here, we land in the town proper. In the windows, we can actually break them with our headbutt. And sometimes items or money will pop out. And if we leave the screen and come back later, all the windows will be miraculously replaced because video games. I think we're to assume this is one of the Demon Realm towns. It's sort of in shambles, probably as a result of the Civil War, where everyone was fighting over the crests. If we go down the fountain, there's this guy hanging out here. I forget his name. He does have a name, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. And he says, "Hey you, I haven't seen you around here before. Are you a stranger here?" We'll say yes. They say that the red demon known as Firebrand has risen. He nearly burnt the demon realm to ashes years ago. If Phalanx had not rescued us, we would all be dead thanks to that arrogant fool Firebrand. Take care of yourself. Talking smack about me? Alright. Same prompt. You say no. He says, "Did you hear that the red demon Firebrand escaped from the Colosseum? Heard that General Arma is hunting him down." Basically, Phalanx has kind of created a smear campaign against Firebrand. We don't really get any confirmation of whether or not all these things people are saying about him were true, but the general impression is that people don't like Firebrand and he doesn't have a very good reputation. If we go to the doors and we hit headbutt, it'll open up and we can go inside. This guy is the spell merchant, I believe. Oh no, this is the artifact appraiser guy. According to this book, the humans had treasures called a talisman. Talismans? They are rumored to be hidden somewhere in this world. The book says that he who is equipped with the talisman will gain magical powers. Okay. As I find talismans, I can bring them to this guy and he'll tell me what they do. And like I mentioned, all of the windows are miraculously replaced and stocked with money. Up here we have another shop that I can't get to because I don't have the ability to break down walls. We will return to the town hub a couple times because this is where you find several of the merchants and a couple of the major stage areas are accessed from this particular level. This is the magic guy. Welcome to the Wise Man, a shop of spells. Okay, these are things that we can buy and hold on our vellums in order to use when we're out in the field. Shadow. A barrier of darkness will surround and protect you. Hold. Your enemies will be held in one place for a short time. Imp. An imp will appear and work for you. Functions like, however, you must have money to keep him employed. Well, that summons a familiar. As long as you have money, it'll fly around and attack things. Shock. The earth will quake and the enemies on the ground will be damaged. Death. All enemies around you will die. It does not work on bosses. I'll save my money for now since I don't have a ton. But at some point, it might be interesting to experiment with the spells. Like I mentioned before, I don't usually use the spells whenever I play this game. Another thing we can do is check out our first crest power, which we got for beating Arma. This is the Crest of Earth. You can see that the Earth crest is slotted into the relief on the right. If we select this one, Mega Man style, it changes Firebrand's form into the G-Gargoyle, I think it was called. In this form, his breath flame changes. If you jump, it fires in a straight line, but if you are grounded, it'll turn into a ground shockwave and does more damage. Firebrand cannot headbutt when he's in this form, but if you hit A, you can do this dash, which will break certain things and also allow you to sort of a dash jump. You can test it on the fountain. The general was wearing a uniform something like yours. I saw him run and break one of those fountains into pieces once. This guy also will give you hints on how to use your different crest abilities. If you switch forms and then talk to him, he'll say stuff like that. If you're trying to figure out what they do, then you can get clues from that guy.